Reds, how are we? It's Tom here from Reds Down Under, and it's been a really difficult week for everyone associated with Liverpool Football Club with the passing of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre. We will be making a podcast celebrating the life of Diogo, because let's be honest, we all just absolutely love him, don't we? So we'll be looking at that next week. This week we're sort of leaning into our archives, if you like, with a podcast that we recorded with my dad. So we're going to look at everything that happened in the 1980s as a Liverpool fan in Liverpool, going to Anfield, standing on the car, Dalglish, Rush, going the away games, hooliganism, the Heysel disaster, and just looking at that successful period. It's a really good conversation. I hope you enjoy it as well. Thanks to Redboat Ventures for helping us with all our kit and our logistics. They're our production partner, and we couldn't have got the pod off the ground without them. So thank you so much. As I say, it's been a really difficult period, and if anyone needs anyone to talk to, they can always send me a message at Reds Down Under podcast, and we'll just have a chat. It's not going to be an easy period, but we'll all get through it together. Up the Reds.
This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.
Welcome to Reds Down Under. I'm Tom, I'm your regular host, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. Meow fella, little Yoz.
How you doing, mate?
How you doing? I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not too bad. How are you feeling about being on the podcast?
Quite excited. Obviously, I watch it and listen to it every week. So, yeah, let's see what input I can bring to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's probably worthwhile putting you on the spot early on.
Go on then.
Who's your favourite son, me or Jaff?
It's daughter, really, Gabby.
Yeah, they've got a cat, which now pretty much takes up most of the love, I reckon.
It's easy to work out.
Yeah, all right, okay. So, me dad obviously is also from Liverpool. He grew up at a time when, like, success was just synonymous with the club. So we're going to be talking about me dad's sort of early days going as a fan in the 80s, and we'll just be covering all that sort of stuff. So what was your first sort of memory of being a Liverpool fan?
Well, I think it goes back to probably about 5, 6, maybe even 7 years of age. And I knew Liverpool, played in red, and any team that was on the TV in red, I just automatically thought it was Liverpool. So the love was there from an early age. My fella was Liverpool. All our family are Reds. They always have been. So it was embedded from an early age, and but it was a good few years later before I actually went to a game, my first game.
So how old were you when you won your first game? What year was that?
I think it was around about probably about 11 or 12. So when I actually got to my first game, so round about late 70s to 1980, something like that. It probably would have been, no, in fact, it's probably around about 78, 79, I think, I got to my first games.
So do you remember, we were talking about it on a recent podcast, can you remember the sort of the Toshak Keegan, or was that before you?
Well, I know of, obviously, the Toshak and Keegan, they were still around. But it was more Kenny and Rushy and Barnesy. That was the era that I was coming into. Because if you think about when Keegan actually left in 77, and obviously everyone was devastated when he was going to Hamburg. But bringing in the King to replace him was a great move, and we never looked back, to be fair.
Well, I mean, when we signed Kenny, did people know what we were getting in Kenny? Because obviously he was playing up in Celtic, wasn't he?
Yeah. So the media wasn't a big hype. We used to get the Football Focus or whatever it was on a Saturday morning. I can't remember what it was called. So we got a little bit about it, but no. for me, I didn't really fully understand what Kenny Dalglish was about until he started playing for us. It was massive. It was a big transformation in the team.
It's different now as well, isn't it? Because back in them days, like you always used to say to me, you wouldn't know Liverpool had signed a player until you see him signing the contract.
Yeah.
Now it's different, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, the hype about it wasn't the same. I mean, it was out there. I remember, I think Forest bought Gary Bartles, or United bought Gary Bartles, or I think it was Forest actually, and Cloughy didn't want to pay $1 million, so they paid 1 penny less than $1 million, so he wasn't granted as a $1 million player. And so there was little things, but not like it is now. It's all hyped up. It's all over the news. Deadline, transfer day, and all that. It's really hyped up. So you're actually getting a better insight now than what we had years ago. Because you go to the game and somebody would run out and you think, you're asking the guy next year, who's that? Oh yeah, he signed on whenever. He come from Scunthorpe, or he came from whatever he came from. But it wasn't the same as it is now. So the information was less, if you know what I mean.
So when you started going the game, then who would you be going the game with as a kid, and like where would you be sitting in a stadium and stuff like that?
Well, my old fella, he worked away, so when he came home, and he didn't come home that often, I used to go to the game. Used to always get a couple of tickets off his mate Teddy Mack, and we'd end up most of the time we were in the Cameron Road, which is the centenary stand. So in the lower, we mostly in there. I didn't ever go in the cop with my old fella. I only ever went in the cop with our kid or on my own, because we were living in Widnes then. So to get to the ground from Widnes, like a 2.5 hour trip, each way.
Especially in them days, like horse and carriage and stuff, wasn't it?
Well, the old green Crossville bus. Anyone who lived in that area would know getting the Crossville into the city, and then getting the bus over to Anfield. So it was a bit of a trek to get there. So my first game ever was I think it was against Brighton or West Brom, and we beat them 3-0, and we were right down the near the Annie Road end, but in the Cameron stand, so right next to the away supporters. That's what it used to be in that corner. And I was like mesmerised, because I'd only ever been to watch rugby league games, and you get like 10,000 or whatever. We had like 40,000 or 50,000 in the ground, and the noise was like it was amazing. And that was it. Then I was hooked.
What was that called? Because in the Lower Cameron, that's where it wasn't called the family enclosure, was it? What was it called?
No, it was the Cameron Road.
But wasn't it for the younger fans?
No, that was the boys' pen used to be in the bottom of the main stand.
Oh, okay.
I never ever went in the boys' pen. I was always in always went in the stands with me old fella, or in the cop if I was on my own.
Yeah. So when you started going in the cop, I obviously growing up and stuff, we went in the cop when I was a kid and stuff. It was very different in that sort of late 90s. I think my first game with you was Celtic in the UEFA Cup, I think.
That was in the stand, though. Yeah,
that was in the main stand, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But when I started going in the car, obviously that's the place you want to be, isn't it? The car. It's not the best place, the best vantage point, is it, to watch the game? But it's the best place to be.
The atmosphere is amazing, and it's so my space in the cop was if you were looking at the Annie Road, I was like left of the goal and maybe I don't know 25 steps up in the cop. So in the cop, it was the same people used to stand in the same areas all the time. So the younger guys like myself, then we used to sit on the barriers, because it was all standing. So we'd sit on the barrier. So the only disadvantage with the barrier was like every time Liverpool went to score, the crowd surged down, and your head went down.
Yeah.
You'd hear the roar, and you came back up and you'd see them rolling off. They scored a goal, and that was the same with the penalties. I had never seen a penalty scored for years.
Yeah.
So Phil Neal or whoever was taking it, you just never seen it.
I remember my granddad, Harry, talking a lot about when he would go to the game and he'd stand on the cop. And there was toilets and stuff, but there wasn't enough. So everyone just used to have a piss in the stand.
Yeah.
Was that around your time as well, or?
Not so much. I mean, it obviously went on around you, but mostly the back end of the cup, right at the top of the cup. They had all these steps coming down. It was like a golden shower running down there, like at half time. So, you never came up them steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just got drowned in yellow pee, if you like. But it wasn't the best in the early 90s or in the 80s and the 90s. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. A great atmosphere. It was. I used to get in there maybe, I don't know, I'd get in there about 1:45 for the 3 o'clock kickoff, and you see all the same people, and then the singing and start probably around about 2:15, 2:30, and then the atmosphere just built from there, and it was great.
So yeah, how early would you get in the ground?
Because about 2:45.
2:45.
Yeah.
So an hour 15 for most kickoffs.
Yeah, nearly all the kickoffs, because I used to like to see them warm up on the pitch, and just seeing the crowd come into the stadium, and just all the atmosphere, because I never went every week. So when I took the opportunity, or when I got the opportunity to go, I used to make the most of it.
Yeah. How much were the tickets then? Can you remember?
Well, it wasn't tickets. We used to pay on the cop anyway. It was a couple of quid.
Couple of quid, yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd have to queue up to get into the car. Yeah. So that's probably why a lot of people were in there early as well, because you had to be in there to get in.
You got your spec as well, so it's. I think it used to open about 1:30. So we used to queue up outside, and there'd be a couple of hundred in the queue at that time just to get in early. I think it seemed to be a lot of younger guys as well. So getting the best spec in the spec in the cup.
Probably loads of lads as well who've done the half day on a Saturday, finished work, and then gone straight up to the ground. Possibly, I imagine.
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. It was always good to go in there early.
And so, because you'd go and stand wherever you wanted, right? When you got in there, so you'd have like cop access or whatever, and then you go and stand. So I'm guessing then you'd have like different groups of lads all around the cop in their own clique. Yeah, if you like.
Yeah, well, you did. So directly behind the goal was the singing area. Like now it's the back of the cop at the top end, isn't it?
205, isn't it? 205 and above, isn't it?
205 and above, yeah. So if you like, it was 105 where we ended up with our season ticket in 105. That's where the singing was. So to get down in that area, it was great, the atmosphere and everything, but the movement and the people, it was a bit hard to be in control of what was going on. So you better. I was as a kid. I used to stand to the left of that, so you still got the atmosphere, but you had a bit more freedom.
Yeah. And what about like the gear that people would be wearing nowadays? Obviously, the club's become a massive commercial success. We talked about it on the recent pod where, now like they're building a new club shop. Now it's going to be the biggest club shop in the world. They sell so much gear, like official shirts. You can get jackets, caps. You can get the whole 9 yards. What was it like then? Were people big on like the official merch, or would people wear like their own gear? Like if they had like a red top or a red polo or whatever, they'd wear that.
Yeah, well, there wasn't the merchandise wasn't as it is now. You could get your shirts and everything else, but. It was later. It was later on with all the colours was a big thing. I mean, going to games, and especially going to away games, finals, everyone or semi-finals, the colours were out.
Yeah,
everyone had the shirts on, and especially in Europe. But generally, we used to go to the game, in a lambswool crew neck jumper, Ben Sherman shirt, pair of Farah, pair of Samba. That was the norm going to the games, and there was like a dress code where, you know, you knew who was who, especially on the away games.
Yeah. What, as in you knew who the lads were?
Yeah, you knew who the Liverpool lads were because, you know, more or less everybody dressed the same. We used to wear a little tiny badge, and that was the only thing we used to wear when we go on away games. But I was a little bit older, and I was like, you know, 14 up to like 18. So that's the dress code there. But we used to wear the trackies, the feelers, the Sergio Tascinis, and
Yeah.
you know, Liverpool were like iconic in bringing all that into the game.
Yeah. The casuals, isn't it?
The casuals, yeah, and it all stemmed from the boys going to Europe in the 70s and having a field day and coming back with all this top gear.
Going to Rome and whatever, coming back with thousand quid's worth of feeler trackies and all this. Sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
and the you know, just setting that trend, and everyone seemed to follow. All the other clubs started to follow what Liverpool were wearing. But you had shops in town, Jack Sharp's and places like that. Used to get our trainees from, and you know, everyone used to go to the same places. The trackies become more available. But going away, generally, we didn't really wear the trackies as much. It was more plain clothes because you wanted to be, you know, not
Civilian,
not standing out.
Yeah.
And I said the same with when we used to go to the away games. We never used to wear the colours. And one of the reasons for that, or one of the big reasons for that, is that you can actually go into the away pub
Yeah.
and have a drink.
Well, we did it, didn't we? Can you remember we went to Arsenal in the Champions League?
Yeah.
And we were in the Arsenal end. My dad had got tickets somehow. I don't know how we'd got them, but we were in the Arsenal end rather than the home end.
Yeah.
And before the game, we were drinking in an Arsenal pub. And you remember I had the Arsenal cap on?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. Do you remember?
Go on.
Do you remember who scored?
Kite scored, didn't he?
No, I thought it was Sammy Ipia.
I can't remember that.
It was a header.
I didn't know. I think he scored at Anfield.
Did he?
Oh, I can't remember now.
I thought it was Hippie who scored. Didn't we get beat 2-1 or was it 1-1 or
It was
something?
1-1, yeah. Yeah. I think we scored sort of like a not late, but like 80 minutes equaliser or something.
Yeah.
And that was when the away goal rule was in as well.
And we jumped up and pretended we were Arsenal and pissed off.
Yeah. Fuck's sake, we jumped up. And remember my mate Flem, he'd bunked in the ground. And it just so happened that there was a spare seat next to us.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, like, you can go anywhere you want, you can wear whatever you want, but I think you can pick a scouser out in a crowd.
Well, I'll tell you the story about that because I worked in London for years, as you know, and if there was an opportunity to go a game in London, I went, and you didn't always get a ticket for the away end.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, but to explain to people who haven't had the opportunity to go on an away game at Liverpool, the tickets are like rocking all shit.
yeah, because you didn't get many.
You don't get many. Say, like even at Anfield, I think the away allocation's 3,000.
Yeah.
So if you think Anfield's quite a big stadium, if you're going to, I don't know, Ipswich away, Portman Road or something, you probably only get 1,500. So the same people go the away games every week. And then after that, you get a couple of tickets, don't you? So to get a ticket away in London's, it's hard to get.
Yeah, very, very hard. So you were only getting 1,500 tickets.
Yeah.
In some of the grounds. So I was in Chelsea, and they were all singing. I was behind the goal in Chelsea, and they were all singing. You'd have to get up and sing. You've got no choice.
Yeah, you can't be hanging around, can you?
No. So, and it was when the away end with Chelsea was behind the dugouts. It was on the side of one of the stands anyway. And I remember the game. It was Franco Solo's last game.
That was so that would have been 2004, 2003,
Possibly.
because we got beat on the last game of the season, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we got beat.
And they qualified for the Champions League in that game.
It's like 2-1 or 3-1 or something.
Yeah, and Stevie got sent off in that game, I think.
I can't remember that either. Did he?
Yeah, I think so. Because that was the game that got them Champions League qualification. and then Abramovich bought them.
I don't remember Stevie getting sent off, but I remember Franco Sola's. It was his last game anyway. So, but in the game, so when Chelsea scored, everyone gets up. So I'm looking around anyway, and I'm like spotting the Scousers in the stand.
Yeah,
so they did the same as me.
Yeah.
And I could pick out 4 or 5 easy.
Yeah.
Within like a 15-meter radius of where it was, and so at half time, I went to see the steward and I said, asked him could I move over to the Liverpool away end, and the steward was going off his head.
Yeah.
How did you get in here?
Yeah.
And I was saying, well, if you don't let me out, let me into Liverpool, and I'm just going to go back in there. And he said, all right, stay there. So next thing, there was like a lift in that stand. Next thing, all the coppers come up in the lift and give me a police escort from that stand. But it ends up there was another 2 guys behind me. Give me a police escort from that stand into the other stand into Liverpool, which was great. It was good getting in there. But that was a bit of a mad one. Chelsea.
And what was the one you told me this years ago? What was the one where you were running away somewhere and it was a bit naughty, and you had your pin badge on? You took your pin badge off.
That was at Forest away.
Forest. So what? I mean, now it's hard for younger fans to sort of understand, because I got raised, and you used to sing the song, we hate Nottingham Forest, we hate Everton too. And I couldn't really understand why we hated Nottingham Forest. But at that time, they were they were toe for toe our rivals, weren't they? For the big ones.
Trevor Francis and all them, and Gary Bales and I think Whiffy played for them. I'm not too sure, but they had a good side.
Trevor Francis,
they had a really good side. And Forest were I think they won the European Cup in 79.
I think, yeah, so we won it 77, 78, and I think they won it 79, 80.
And 80. And then
they won it back to back.
And then we won it in 81. So, yeah, but they knocked us out on the way through Forest. I remember that. They were a good side. So they were a big rivalry, but we had, again, I went down there with the lads, Derek, Paul and John, and the atmosphere was great. We had a good day. Before the game, we were having a drink in the cricketers across the road from the Trent Bridge rather, right next to the cricket ground. So we're having a drink in here with all the Forest fans, and the crack was great. There was no drama at all. But after the game, because we beat them, there was murder everywhere. There was just kicking off everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were separated a little bit in the grounds, and we said, so we'll meet outside the pub, and then we'll jump in the car and we'll get off. So standing on the corner, and it was me and I think it was me and Derek on the corner, or me and John, and we've only got these little badges on. And next thing, we're surrounded by Forest. We were in the mix of the Forest. They were all looking for the Scousers. So they're all bobbing their heads like meerkats looking for the Scousers, doing all this, right? And me and John just looking at each other. And I've gone like that. So we take our little badges off. And so we're just hanging around in all the Forest, and we're seeing the guys coming. And we just give them the nod to go behind the pub. So they went diverted around the pub, and then we just got off, and we just laughed all the way home then for about 2 hours. That we were right in the middle of the Forest nutcases.
That's scary. Yeah, that's pretty scary stuff. Because you're going to get done in, aren't you?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
It's not going to be any equal Barney, is it?
No. Well, there was about 50 of them.
Yeah.
There was only me and John. And now, so yeah, it was all it was all part of the fun.
Yeah. Let me have a look. There's loads I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about that then. The sort of you would have been going the game, probably less so much home, I would imagine, but the away games, hooliganism would have been huge at the time. When you were going, was there a real feeling on the coaches and that people were going to go and have a Barney?
It was just I couldn't really say if that was it was a set thing or not, but it was a given that there was always going to be trouble, and there was certain grounds you went to that there was always going to be trouble. So the feelings on the coaches or on the trains, whatever, what means of travel you went, you know, it was just agreed that everyone stuck together. I remember going to Leicester, the old Filbert Street, and you used to get off the train station in Leicester and then walk you to the ground, pretty much what they do with Liverpool. And it's like, I can't remember how long it was, but it's about 2.5 mile walk or something.
Really?
It's a bit of a walk to the ground, and you're walking through all these dodgy estates.
Yeah, because that's where most of the old stadiums are, isn't it? It's like Anfield, you're walking through a pretty rough area, like.
Yeah, and we and then you went through like a bit of an industrial area to get to the ground, and there was like Leicester fans everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were on our toes a little bit there, because we were like on the special on the train, so there was like 500 of us all be mashed up by the police. But out of that 500, you know, I'd say 150 easy would have just stood up and fought anybody, you know, because, you know, that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know about the planning of the guys going away, but, you know, everyone stuck together.
Yeah.
So, and if it came to you, you know, and you just defended yourself.
Yeah. Because obviously when I started going the away games, like the game has changed so much since that time, you know what I mean? Like, there was never really, for a normal sort of away game, I never really felt like there was any real bother, to be honest. Like, I never seen anything really. You know, you'd see the odd fella having a fight with someone.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't like anything.
Well, it started to get more organised and things like that, didn't it? So they started to like pre-meet, you know, and it was just organised. So they you know, maybe away from the ground or in the town centre or whatever. But so it went on, and it never really stopped.
Yeah.
It's just the amount of it. You know, we've been to. I've took you to Old Trafford. That was one of the biggest things. Old Trafford. You know, and they're like they chase the coaches and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you got caught in one of these streets going towards the ground, Salford and all around there, all the fans used to chase after you on the coach.
Well, it's good. It's easy for them because they've all got fucking 3 legs and everything, haven't they?
Exactly, yeah. Well, Cyclopses running around everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was Manchester was always a big day for the away. I love going to Manchester, and to be honest, we never had a good run at Old Trafford.
No.
So getting the results out over at Old Trafford was a bonus.
Yeah.
But the day was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had some great memories of going to Old Trafford.
Yeah, I remember we went, it was me, you and Jack, wasn't it? We went the FA Cup at Old Trafford. It was Kenny's first game back.
Kenny's first game.
Yeah, we got beat, but it was
atmosphere.
fucking great, wasn't it?
And that's because on the cup games, you used to get more tickets.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got like, we got 9,000.
Yeah, we did. We got loads, yeah.
Where normally you'd get like 6 or 4.5 or 5 or something.
Yeah, you'd probably get like 4,000 at Old Trafford or something.
Yeah. So we got 9. And that was the, listen, for us to get 3 tickets to go to Old Trafford.
It's rare, isn't it?
Very, very rare,
Yeah.
So we were very lucky.
So let's talk about the success, because you were going the game at a time that Liverpool were they were winning everything. They were either winning everything or they were winning something major every year, which is something I never had. You know, like in the 90s.
Well, it was tough times.
Tough times, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, what was it like being a Liverpool fan at that time, going the games and knowing that we all think that we're the best football club in the world? Of course we do, but we were the best team, weren't we?
Well, it was like, it was a given. Like every week or every other week or whenever you got to the game, it was a given before they came out. Everyone was singing "Bring on the Champions" because it was like, you know, another year we won the league, and that's just, it just sticks in my head. You know, it was "Bring on the Champions, bring on the Champions," and they were obviously very successful. So me being part of the late 70s, you know, seen the 77, the 78 European Cups. On my half fella went to the 77.
Yeah.
I obviously didn't get the opportunity to go, but 78, and it was just built from there, really.
Yeah. Well, you were in Paris in 81.
81, I got the opportunity to go. Yeah.
What was that like? Who did you go with? How did you get there?
Went with my uncle Mick. He said to me, I remember watching all the cup games, all the rounds for the European Cup, and he said, because I was always in my nan's on a Sunday in cutting the grass and looking after my nan, and he said to me, if we get to the final, we'll go.
Yeah, nice one.
So I said, oh yeah, nice one. So I was like 14 or whatever it was, and so I'm watching the semi-finals. I can't remember who we beat, but yeah, we got to the final, and so I was like onto him right away, and he said, yeah, okay. So anyway, we went to Paris, which was great. We went on drove down to Dover, got driven into Paris.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a journey in itself, but when we got to Paris, it was like, they reckoned it was like 25, 30,000 Liverpool in Paris. We'd just never seen anything other than red and white. It was like phenomenal. It was amazing. So, and before the game, we were, all around the Eiffel Tower and just scousers everywhere, but a lot of Scottish and Irish was there, which was all a bit mad. Because in the Parc des Princes, the Liverpool end itself, when we were like in the Real Madrid end, if you like, Real Madrid were above us, and we were below them, and it was just like full of Scottish and Irish.
Yeah,
it was just mad. It was great.
So that game against Real Madrid, obviously, we beat them.
Yeah.
Alan Kennedy scored.
Yeah. I had this thing about Alan Kennedy. It was like the 63rd minute, and I had it in my head for years. And it was actually in the 80 odd minutes it was. But I don't know why I thought 63 minutes of the game. But yeah, beating Real Madrid was magic. And then so after the game, it was just mad. Again, just a sea of red and white. All in Paris. That's all I can remember. Just seeing the sea in red and white. It was amazing. It was a massive game for me to go to.
Yeah.
To see it been there, pick big ears up. It was amazing.
I've never seen us lift a major trophy in the stadium.
Oh, you haven't?
No. Like we get beat in the finals I go to. So was there a trophy parade for that? In Liverpool, did they do the parade then?
Yeah, they did I think something in the city.
Yeah,
I didn't see it because we were still travelling back, so it took us like 2 days to get back. But I didn't see the parade. But I think there was a parade. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
I imagine there would have been.
Yeah, and then we won't go too much into this, but you were in Heysel in 85.
Yeah.
Like, just sort of top line, like, how does that affect a football fan base?
It was, it was the height of hooliganism. If you think of the year of 85. Now, we were, obviously, in the end that it all kicked off, there was it was separated into pens. And they had one pen on the very end, and then it was like Liverpool. And like they outnumbered us massively, Juve, in the stadium.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot more Juve in the stadium than there was of Liverpool. And we actually bought the tickets in Brussels the day of the game, or the day before. We got them. Very lucky to get them. And when we got up to the ground, you didn't even need a ticket, you just walked in. So the authorities it was just badly set up. Compared to like Paris in 81, they had a cordon around the stadium.
Yeah.
So you had to show your ticket to get into that cordon, and then you went into the grounds. So, and then you went through a turnstile the same as
Yeah.
you know, as standard. But here, they had like a small fence outside the grounds. They had police on the turnstile, but you never showed nothing. You just walked in, so we didn't even need the tickets.
I wonder, yeah, I mean, it's hard to understand why that would ever, it's hard to understand why that would ever happen. Why they wouldn't be checking the tickets. Like, it's just...
Definitely not on the turnstile that we went in anyway. There was no checking of the tickets at all. Everyone had full tickets intact. So yeah, it was badly set up.
Yeah.
And then in the ground, we were 2 pens away from where it was all happening, but there was like a lot of throwing balls and coins and whatever, and it was just all kicking off. But we could hear it and see it.
Yeah.
And then it was just like a stampede. It was just a surge of fans running at the Juve. And then obviously there was the cushions and everything else, but we didn't know all that in the ground. We didn't know anything about it. But then, you know, the game was stopped, or the game didn't even start.
It's postponed, yeah.
And it was like I don't know how long it was, 2 hours. The game was
Really?
It was a long time anyway. And we were in the ground for an hour, and we thought, that's it. The game's not going to go. We didn't know what had gone on with the fans, and so we left the stadium. So it was me and my dad, our mate, and our kid, our Ian, and so we left the ground. And as we're leaving the ground, we're running down to the car, and the riot police was running up the road, marching. And we were thinking, God, there's going to be murder there. There's going to be a lot of trouble. Because all the Juve fans, they run on the pitch towards the Liverpool. They tried to get at the Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of trouble in the ground. So anyway, we got off, and as we were driving back into Brussels, it announced that they were going to play the game. So my half fella said he wasn't going to go back. So we dropped my half fella off at the hotel, and me, my uncle, and Ian, we went back to the ground, and again we walked straight in.
Unbelievable.
No tickets required. To walk straight into the ground, and we watched the game, and it should never have been played.
No, absolutely horrendous that football match was played. Like,
yeah, and it was only after the game itself, when we got back to the hotel, we realised what had actually happened.
yeah,
Because we still didn't know.
yeah, mad. I seen a documentary about it. I think we watched the same one when I was younger, and even like Liverpool were denied like a stonewall penalty in the last minute of the game, and the referee said no. But the referee wants the game done. Like,
Yeah.
the referee probably didn't even want the game to go ahead, to be honest. Like,
It should have never have been played.
no, absolutely not. That's really interesting. Thanks for telling me about that. So after that, I mean, Liverpool get a European ban from that, but the success continues on the pitch. Like, Kenny Dalglish and Ian Rush are at that sort of, they're at the top of their game at that point, I'd say, probably late 80s, yeah.
Yep.
We've talked before about, like, you know, we did it with Wayne, and we said, you know, who's your favourite Liverpool player of all time? And Wayne he's young enough to have caught Kenny, you know, so he said Kenny Dalglish. Like, how good were those two boys, Rushy and Dalglish?
Unbelievable. The connection between them, they just sort of knew where to go. It was like telepathic. They just knew. Kenny could turn on a sixpence. Rushy he was like really skinny, Rushy. I think when Rushy arrived, it was Paisley.
Bob on it?
Yeah, Paisley used to send him a steak every other day just to fatten him up a little bit. But yeah, Rushy was so strong on the ball. But Kenny between them, they were magic. They were magic. I can't know how many goals they scored. There's a lot of goals.
Yeah, I haven't got the stats, but I had them the other day because we were talking about them on the podcast. And then, like, because I remember saying to you, we were talking, this is years ago, but we was talking about how like the game changes and stuff, and I was talking about Bobby Firmino and Bobby's pressing. But you said, but Rushy would be pressing.
Rushy did it all the time. His work rate was phenomenal. Rushy would just press, and then he'd get back up with Craig Jono or Sammy Lee, or they'd all do the same.
Yeah.
But Rushy was always pressing, always.
Yeah.
He was great at it.
And then Kenny takes the player manager role, which you don't get anymore, really, do you? At high level football, I think some lower league clubs do sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's still there, but it's now we've got all these top class coaches who it's not so much anymore on the in the big clubs.
Yeah. What's the biggest changes that you can see in the game in the time from, say, the 80s to now?
Well, obviously a lot of rules have changed, and a lot of them better for the game. Introducing the VAR, which it's hit and miss, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hit and miss. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's still a bloke.
Yeah,
making a decision.
Yeah, and they still get it wrong.
Yeah.
So just the rule changes. The game's quicker. They play it a little bit different. They're playing a lot out from the back now. We watched that in Australia, and the teams over here they try the same thing.
Yeah,
just not as skillful, or not. The skill set is a lot different here, and it's a bit slower. But they do. It's adopted everywhere around the world now. Even in the lower divisions, they're doing the same thing. Everyone's playing the ball off from the back, which is good to see. Yeah, it's good to see, but not everyone gets it right.
No, well, that's the thing. And you know what? Like, football's circular, isn't it? So, like, you had like Johan Cruyff and that Ajax team, and the philosophy that they brought in total football. 4-3-3, anyone can play anywhere. You always have a goalie, but anyone can play anywhere. And that was the sort of the thing that was in vogue at the time. Barcelona started doing it as well. And then it went back again to the 4-4-2.
Well, the changes in formation was, one of the big changes was the wing backs. The left back and your right back, they became wing backs.
Yeah.
So they were chomping down the wing. Sammy Lee, your Craig Jono, Alan Kennedy. They were all chomping down the wings.
Yeah.
And that sort of changed the formation of the game slightly, because if you think about it, you're going from 4 at the back to 2.
Yeah.
So you get the midfield dropping back into a diamond at the back, if you like, just a cover as a sweeper.
Yeah. It changes the whole makeup of the team.
It changes it, yeah. So there was developments in that side of it, and in the tactics. So you're actually seeing different changes in it, and then the formations, obviously, as you know now, your 3, your 5s, and it's like crowding out the midfield.
Yeah, creating as many triangles all over the pitch as you can. Basically, is the game, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you're sitting in the Mascherano role, and Gerrard used to play that role as well. And Alonso, as you know, but then like their character used to play in front of it, supporting the front two, So they played lots of different roles, but it used to be like a 4-4-2.
Yeah,
and then the wing backs came in, the formation started to change, and then the covering started to happen, and then all of a sudden you've got like a diamond formation, which was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And now everyone's doing it.
Yeah, and that's sort of my point. Like, the sort of the tiki-taka, playing the ball out from the back, there will be a change some point. It will happen some point where coaches will start going, nah, you know what? We're not going to play that. We're going to play with 2 bags of 4 again. And we are going to be like Arsene Wenger's Arsenal team in 2004. We're going to play deeper, and then we're going to spring at you all game. Like, we've already seen it with Ranieri's Leicester when they won the league. That's the way they played it.
Yeah.
And I think some of the bigger teams when the bigger teams start doing it, it'll come back in vogue again then. Because it's all right playing the ball round and playing 600 passes. But if you can't get past the low block and the other team is scoring past you.
Well, the idea of the passing in from the back is to create the spaces. So your opponent's actually coming to you. You open up the space. That's the whole idea of it. Now, the European teams were doing it probably a little bit before us. As you know, you mentioned Ajax and that. But the players, your defenders, are different now. More skillful, better on the ball, can handle the pressure more.
Yeah.
You know, the old centre halves or the centre backs going up for the ball and just heading the ball away or oofing it into the stands. You know, they don't.
It's no good.
They don't do that anymore.
No.
So you like see Van Dijk who's controlling the game from the back. You know, it wasn't really the same as that. I don't know about Loro and Anson and all them not doing the same as what Van Dijk's doing. I don't think it would have been a good idea.
Yeah. And let's talk about you've got that success period there. Liverpool winning everything. You've got the Hillsborough disaster, and after the Hillsborough disaster, Kenny steps down. We get Graham Souness in as manager, and it doesn't quite work out for Graham. The 90s were a tough time to be a Red,
Yeah, very tough. But you know, through thick and thin and all that, but some of the signings that Souness made was shocking. You know, Neil Ruddock and all them lot, like they were just shocking. Now whether or not he never had enough time to gel a team or what, but I remember going to the derby at Goodison Park, and again, in fact, that was a game that we actually bunked in.
Yeah.
So thinking about it, somebody kicked the door open in Goodison Park in the main stand. We all just run into the main stand, but we got battered.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the middle of the park, and he got Razor in the middle of the park, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Don't know what you're doing here, Graham. And so he made some bad signings. I think one of the signings, he signed a guy called Carter I think he bought him from Chelsea. And brought him on. I think he was a forward. Brought him on as a sub and then subbed him. And we never seen him again.
Really? Yeah, he was that bad?
Yeah, he was just never worked out. But as soon as bad era for us, that bad era. I don't know, how long was he there, 3 years?
I think he got 3 years. I think he got sacked on his third year, didn't he?
Yeah. Now, whether or not, I don't know what support he got from, we don't know the back, we don't know the same information as we do now.
Yeah.
But in the background, I don't know what support he got for developing the team, but it wasn't good anyway.
Yeah, it was a strange one, wasn't it? Because we went from the boot room success, you know, Shankly, Paisley, Fagan, Moran, Kenny, and then we sort of hit Souness, and it just dropped off. And then Roy Evans came in.
Yeah.
And I think people who were around that time will say, you know, like, Liverpool were an exciting team to watch.
Well, he sort of steadied the ship, Roy. He went back to basics a little bit. But again, it wasn't right. We needed to build. We needed a lot of the younger guys coming through, and we did start to bring a couple of the young guys through in the 90s, which was great. Which it needed.
Yeah. Because we brought through a bit of a cohort of young Scouse lads, actually.
Yeah.
Like David Thompson, Robbie,
Macha,
McAteer.
McAteer, yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a bunch of lads there who, I mean, you know,
but you likes of Robbie Jones and all them lot as well, and they all come through from an area. I think Robbie Jones, we bought him from Crewe.
Wrexham, wasn't it?
Was it Wrexham?
It was a club like that though. It was a small club, wasn't it?
Well, we used to get quite a few. Danny Murphy we got from Crewe.
Danny came from Crewe, yeah.
So we had a lot of young guys coming through, and they were good players.
Yeah.
You know, Jamie Redknapp, and and these were all good, promising players that was coming through.
Jamie was a great player, wasn't he? He was unlucky with it. He got that bad injury, didn't he, in 2000, I think.
I can't remember the
So yeah, he was out for like the year, I think.
Yeah, and he was a great player. But we had they were starting to build again. I know later on they started to get the reputation of what do they call them?
Spice Boys.
Spice Boys. What was that? 95, the final with Man United. Was
96, I think, the FA Cup final. Yeah,
that was a terrible cup final. That. Yeah,
shite. 1-0, Cantona.
Yeah, it was terrible game. It was hyped up as well because of the rivalry with United, and the game was terrible. It was a really bad game.
A lot of cup finals are like that, aren't they? To be honest.
Well, yeah, but we've had exciting ones.
Yeah, we've had exciting ones. Yeah,
the Alaves, was it 4-3 or 5-4?
5-4, yeah.
That was mad.
Yeah, and then Birmingham City in the League Cup, we beat them on pens.
West Ham,
yeah. The Gerrard Screamer. And we West Ham probably deserved to beat us on that day, to be fair. Absolutely, like.
But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's it like? What's it like taking your lads like into being a Liverpool fan? Like, how old was it when you started to think, he's going to be a Red? Like,
as soon as you're born.
No, I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, when you thought, like, he's going to be a fan. Like,
it's a given. It's born with you. You're always going to be a Red. So you're getting Liverpool kits from before you can walk. So when you do start kicking the ball around, you're kicking the ball around with the Liverpool kit on.
Yeah.
And it's bedded into you. So it's just the most natural thing for a Scouser, for a Reds anyway. It's probably the same with the Blues.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
So the thing with me, with growing up with our youth boys growing up, you and Jack, was that I wanted for you to have more access than what I ever did, and the opportunity to go to the games, home and away in the finals, and we used to do that with the season ticket, and getting the final tickets and semi-final tickets. So I'd make sure you went to one of them. Better opportunity with the semi than the final because the more opportunity with the tickets. So just from you just wanted it. You wanted to go to the game.
Yeah.
And I was going to the game every week or every other week, and you just wanted to go to the game. And when you were going, the excitement in it.
Yeah.
And I see it in you. So the big build-up to go to the game was great.
Yeah.
It's and that was from an early age with you, both of you.
And something I have talked about before was the Barcelona trip that we went to.
Yeah. Well, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Barcelona 2007.
Well, again, that was an era where we wasn't great.
No, well, we'd won in Istanbul 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
He'd made some good improvements, let's say, to the squad.
Yeah.
But it's not like it is now, where we were challenging on all fronts. That was...
Yeah, well, we had a lot of trouble behind the scenes. Didn't we? It was highlighted, wasn't it? With Bellamy and Kite. Was it Kite?
Risa. Adabani, yeah.
So I think 2005, if you recall, was the year that we were going to go to Istanbul, but you had your exams or you had something within school and we couldn't go. So we said we'd look at something later. We'd make sure that we did something. And obviously Barcelona, the opportunity to get a couple of tickets to go to the new camp was great.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
And to win.
And to win in the new camp, yeah.
Yeah, and it was full of Scousers as well, wasn't it?
Full of Scousers, yeah.
It was the atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah.
Even coming out the ground, because we actually got lifted up into the Liverpool section, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, that in itself was magic, wasn't it? Getting pulled up.
Yeah.
All the fans pulling us up.
Yeah.
Into that section, and then coming out the grounds, coming down the stairs, down the steps, all singing. Into the subway, and then going down to the Ramblers with all the naughty women.
Yeah. Some naughty women, some not so naughty women, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you remember the restaurant? We went into the restaurant. We got in the Liverpool fans got us into that restaurant.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. In the tapas place, wasn't it?
Tapas place, yeah. We had some to eat and then a few drinks,
Yeah.
celebrated into the night.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was absolutely great.
Amazing trip. Barcelona's a great place.
Beautiful, isn't it?
And the new camp stadium, we went to did the tour the following day, didn't we? And we went to all around it through the chapel and trophy room. The trophy room's like bigger than Goodison Park,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Huge, wasn't it?
it was to see. I think did they have 7? Did they win it 7 times at that point, Barcelona?
No, they'd won 4.
4?
Yeah, they'd won 4 at that point, because then they won the 5th. No, they must have won 3 at that point, because then they won back to back, didn't they, against United? They won in Rome and they won at Wembley.
I thought they'd won more than us in 2007.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I think they've won 5 now, all in.
Okay, so Real Madrid had maybe 7. Maybe I'm getting mixed up with the two. But I thought they'd actually had more European Cups in 2007. The trip was amazing. The trip was amazing.
And that was when the new camp was the new camp. It's been redeveloped now. It's a whole new stadium.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not going to feel like the new camp. We went to the new camp when it was like, not like, I wouldn't say it was run down, but it was historic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a monument.
It was like an old Colosseum. They put a few things in there just to ramp
Make it comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was great, wasn't it? The atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah, and it's dug into the ground, isn't it? So when we were like at the top, and we could just see the city in the background.
Yeah, it was amazing place. Yeah, Barcelona was up there with everything else, especially with winning 2-1. It was and they were a good side, Barcelona.
Yeah, they were brilliant. They had Ronaldinho and that. Do you remember when we were in that bar up the road and we walked down the road and then he put the fences down and the team walked past? Can you remember that?
Yeah, that was before the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we were actually standing in as Barcelona walked through.
Yeah. And they were close, they were really
Very
close, weren't they?
Like within 2 meters away from us.
Yeah.
Just to see them that close up and getting onto the coach, it was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was bizarre, wasn't it?
Because there was not a lot of people there.
No.
It was just the people that they actually stopped off in the cordon.
Yeah, there was like maybe 30 people there or something.
Yeah. That was bizarre, really. That was good as well. It was good to see that.
Yeah.
Good to see the Barcelona that close up. Because superstars, weren't they?
Yeah, because in the game, you hate them. Like in the return leg at Anfield, we booed them for 90 minutes and that, and I think like Eto'o with the post, and it was mad, and we booed them all and all that. But then we can say, we seen Lionel Messi and Ronaldinho, and these are like in the conversation for the greatest footballers of all time.
Messi, unbelievable. I remember watching. I went to Arsenal and they played Barcelona.
Yeah. They had Messi, Neymar and Suarez, didn't they?
Unbelievable. And I was very, very lucky to get these tickets, and they were really good tickets. And I was focused just on them 3. The movement in the ground, the movement on the pitch and everything. One would go, one would cover. The other one would run off the other one, and Messi was just dragging 2 defenders all the time. It was unbelievable. But they're very vulnerable at the back.
Yeah.
Because Arsenal had like 4 or 5 good chances.
Yeah,
hit the post and everything. I mean, Barcelona won, but
it could have gone either way.
It could have gone either way, and that was the thing with some of the Spanish sides and even the Italian sides. They were good at front, but there wasn't great defenders.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barcelona, when we beat them 2007, they had a really good side. They had a strong side. But Liverpool were rebuilding and going, because if you think about 2005, a lot of the players there, and again, they pulled themselves out of it to win that cup. a lot of the players were going.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
they were on the way out.
They were
yeah.
on the way out.
Smeaton was going and all that. Yeah, because that 2007 year we lost in Athens, didn't we, against Milan? And to be honest, we should have beat Milan on the night. We should have beat them. Gerrard had a chance that he sort of should have gone with his left foot. If he goes with his left foot, he scores. He opens his body up, he goes with his right foot. There was chances in the game. But that team really was Rafa's halfway point to what would be his best team, which was 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
When we ran United towards the title.
Yeah.
That was Rafa's best team, without doubt, wasn't it? And you think of, you know, Torres at his prime, Alonso at his peak for Liverpool, Mascherano, Gerrard, like.
They were very strong, especially through the middle, into the attack. They were great, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Torres was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know. But you've got like players who like instant impacts who landed at Anfield. So Torres was one of them. He was massive. And I remember like Stan Collymore when we signed him.
He was a record deal, was he, when we signed him?
Yeah, and I can't remember who he was playing, but Collymore got the ball on the right hand side of the Cameron Road, and he just cut inside and just buried this ball into the top corner. He was like, "Welcome to Anfield."
Yeah, this guy's got it. Like,
this guy's got it. Yeah, and it's just the Torres was the same. He was magic. He was, and the connection between him and Gerrard was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You run through all the goals that they scored and the way they scored them, and the strength of Torres. I mean, look what he did to Vidic at Old Trafford when he took the ball off him and left him on the floor.
Yeah, taught him a new one, didn't he?
You know, and that was Torres. The thing with Torres, right? You know, at the end when we sold him, it was at the end.
Yeah, he was gone, wasn't he?
Yeah, we'd had the best out of him.
Because you were at, we spoke about it with Jack the other week, but you were at one of his last games, I think, against Blackpool.
Oh,
you and Jack at Blackpool away, yeah.
That was a terrible game, that.
Yeah.
Beat something like 3-0.
Yeah, we were shit, yeah.
It was, the game should have been played on Boxing Day and it got cancelled because of the weather.
Yeah.
And they played it on like a Wednesday night in Blackpool.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a good trip, but we're in the stand, and I remember seeing John Aldridge in the stands, and I said to John Aldridge, I said, "Fucking hell, John, you know what's going on here, lad?" You know, and he just shook his shoulders. He said, "You know, don't know. I can't get my head around it." That was his response.
Yeah, yeah. And he knows his football life.
Yeah, we were all the same. We're like, you know, away at Blackpool, get beat 3-0.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, but run ragged on the pitch. Had a few chances, but yeah. So that was him, you know, coming to the end of Liverpool, and for us to get 50 million for him or whatever it was a lot of money we got for him.
50, yeah.
To go to Chelsea, it was the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was the sweetest thing. I know Jack was upset about it. Like it was definitely the right move for us to get rid of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, look, I mean, we've talked about a lot of stuff. There's loads of other stuff I'd love to talk to you about at a different time, but I think we'll wrap up there for now.
Yeah, well, there's lots to talk about because you know, Liverpool. There's loads of stories, away days. You know, you're only touching on it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, talk about the away trips down to Norwich, 6.5 hours on a coach.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, it's like half a day's travel just to go down to Norwich.
But it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go down to Norwich drinking, you get back on the coach with a hangover.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you get on the coach at 6 o'clock in the morning, you hear it, it's getting open.
They're the best days.
Yeah,
they're the days I miss with going with Adam.
Yeah,
going on away days. But we'll get you back on another time. Thanks so much for coming on Reds Down Under, Yoz.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're always welcome on. And thanks for making me a Red. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of special one-off podcast with me, our fella. We will be doing more of these sort of podcasts in the future. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, have a good day, and up the Reds.
Up the Reds.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.